All right, all right, all right. It looks like we're live. Hello, everybody. Glad everybody's here. Welcome back. For those of you who have been to an event before, for anybody who has not been to one of our live events before, welcome. And again, welcome to athletes, parents, and coaches to another edition of FFT, hashtag FFT Live, presented by Fitter and Faster Swim Camps. I hope you're all well, staying safe, and staying positive. Let us know in the chat where you're from and which swim team you're repping. If at any time the chat begins to get a bit overwhelming, you can minimize it by clicking on the red button with 3 white dots on the right hand of your screen. That'll actually move the chat to like a minimized state. If at any point, though, if people begin to spam, I will have to remove you from the broadcast. So please do not spam. However, if you have a question at any point, I encourage you to participate in this discussion, and we will try to answer your questions as they come in. So let's get started. Some of you may already know me, but for those who don't, my name's Tyler Clary, and I've been a clinician with Fitter and Faster for almost 7 years now. I'm from Southern California originally, and I now live in Charlotte, North Carolina. And I have a background as a professional swimmer on the world stage for about 6 years and was a competitive swimmer for about 20 years. I'm sure that a lot of people here, I was swimming for longer than you've been alive. I competed at the London Olympic Games in 2012, where I placed 5th in the 200 butterfly and won the Olympic gold medal in the 200 backstroke and set the Olympic record. I went to college at the University of Michigan, where I studied computer science, and I'm now the Director of Sales and Marketing at Fitter and Faster. Welcome to this episode titled Quarantine Fitness with Lee Sommers. We are so lucky to have Lee here with us today. Of course, there are a lot of pools and gyms that are shut down, and we thought it would be a great time to try and do some live online workouts. That being said, we want everybody to be safe, so make sure that you've cleared out an area so you have room to move if possible, and make sure that there aren't any hazards nearby like tables, shelves, heavy stuff that you might knock over, etc. We really don't want anybody getting hurt. Give me a moment here. So, all right, a little bit about our Dryland training expert. Lee Sommers is a strength and conditioning coach in the Washington, D.C. area with 20 years of experience in the field. He's been working predominantly with swimmers for the last 7 years, and he trains multiple teams year-round, including Nation's Capital Swim Club and Rockville Montgomery Swim Club. He's worked with many college, professional, and national champion swimmers, and most notably was Katie Ledecky's trainer for the 3 years leading up to the 2016 Rio Olympic Games. I've also had the pleasure of working with Lee myself, and the dude really knows his stuff. Welcome, Lee. How are you?
Hey, Tyler. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing pretty well, trying to keep myself from being stir crazy. How about yourself?
Doing the same, and I'm sure everyone who's tuning in is kind of feeling the same way, so I'm glad that we can get on here and do something to kind of help everyone, both the athletes, the coaches, and the parents from driving each other crazy, and get some of that energy out and hopefully pick up some good ideas of what they should be doing as far as their strength and conditioning, their Dryland, and just overall activity right now.
Cool. Awesome, man. Well, what do you have in store for us today?
Okay, well, first of all, for everyone who's here, coaches, parents, athletes, I want to first just kind of express that I understand your frustration. I understand kind of what's happening and the fact that you guys have been working hard all year for this season and for your championship meets. And I do really sympathize with the fact that you won't get to perform. Your parents and coaches won't get to see you perform and won't get to see all of that stuff, all that hard work that you put in come to fruition. I just know that we're all in the same boat, and everyone's kind of feeling the same stuff right now. And I want to just kind of express that to get started. Beyond that, I wanted to kind of make sure that everyone has a good idea of what they should be doing with this time. Getting out and being active is really the most important thing. Finding some time during your day a few years ago that I think it's really important, especially at this age group that we're talking to today, that you perform other sports, that you participate in other sports other than swimming, because making yourself a better athlete early will pay dividends when you decide, and if you decide that swimming is going to be the one sport that you participate in. The more athleticism you expose yourself to early, the better swimmer you'll be later. So I'm interested to see what that poll nets us and what it tells us a little later, Tyler. So please go on and hit up those polls as soon as you can.
Real quick before you go on, right now it's looking like about 58 to 60% of people do another sport other than swimming, and obviously the rest of those are no's. I'm seeing a lot of people talking about the stream freezing. So if that's the case, go ahead and reconnect or refresh your screens, y'all. And I did see a couple of people that mentioned that were curious about how long this is going to go. This is going to be roughly an hour. It could be a little bit more, a little bit less. Sorry for the interruption. So if anybody needs to reconnect, go ahead and reconnect or refresh. And if you're seeing that the chat is being a little bit aggressive, meaning there are a lot of messages going back and forth, just go ahead and minimize it by hitting that little red button with 3 white dots on the right hand of your screen, and it'll minimize the chat for you. Okay, go ahead, Lee. Sorry.
No, fantastic that we're getting that much chat and that much activity. That's encouraging. So with all that being said about other sports and other things and other ways that you can get your activity, my purpose for today is to kind of give you guys some exposure to some exercises and programming that will make you better swimmers. In the end, that's really what we want to accomplish, especially because right now you can't get in the water. You can't swim. For probably 95% of you, you're not able to swim right now. You're not able to perform your sport. So what can we use this time for? And I'd like for you guys to use this time efficiently so that when you finally can get back in the water, you've done some things to make yourselves better swimmers with less injury risk, with better performance, better shoulders, better core connection, better kick, more power, things that we can do to make you better swimmers right now while you can't swim. Maybe you'll actually, when you've taken this break, which I know no one wanted to take, you'll come back and feel some positive stuff from this break that will translate to the water, okay? So with this age group, which is the younger of the 2 age groups we'll be talking to, there are really 3 attributes or 3 things that we want to focus on in trying to make you better swimmers. The first one is working on your athleticism and your fitness level. Start getting used to being athletes, not just specifically swimmers in one lane, no pun intended, but be able to really hone in on all those athletic attributes that will then translate to better performance in the water. The second, and typically the most important for me, and I'm sure, Tyler, you can attest this too throughout your swim career, working on stability around the joints that are kind of take on the most demand of the swimmer. And you can imagine those are probably going to be shoulders, number 1, and then through your core, low back and hips is going to be number 2. Working on the stability of those segments of your body will help as far as injury risk, and will also help as far as your transfer of energy, strength, and power throughout your strokes. And then the third one is coordination. Trying to figure out your body a little bit. It's a weird time, especially if you're spending so much time in the water and not enough time on dry land. Getting the coordination of it all so that, again, that translates to the water. Every stroke is different. There are lots of different things you do in your sport that will require different types of coordination. So what we try and do on dry land and with strength and conditioning is start to prepare your body to be able to handle all the rigors of all those different endeavors. Hopefully that's making sense. And I know Tyler brought this up earlier. Please light me up with questions. I'm happy to answer questions, and I want to make sure I leave time at the end for a Q&A, because I know some of the stuff that I say, and I will keep talking if you let me. Pop in there with questions as much as you can. Okay?
Yeah.
All right.
So real quick, let me interrupt one more time. Again, folks, if anybody's, I've already had to boot a couple of people that were spamming. There are a lot of people in the room right now. We have over 700 people here. Everybody's, calling out their clubs and all that kind of stuff. But if I see somebody adding a ton of messages that are all basically the same, I will boot you. So please don't make me do that. Also, once again, if you're getting distracted by the chat, we want everybody to be able to chat with us. But if you're getting distracted by it, go ahead and hit that little red button with 3 white dots at the right hand of your screen, and that will actually minimize the chat, and you can focus on what Lee's doing. Lee is actually about to go through all of these exercises, and we expect you guys to do the exercises with us. So to answer that question, this is going to be a live workout, and we're going to get started here in just a moment.
Okay, so the first thing we want to do is just a quick challenge. Everyone, if you're a swimmer, you've done a plank at some point. Okay, so what I'm going to ask you to do, we're going to do a minute-long plank, or as long as you can go in a couple seconds. I'm going to give you some things I want you to pay attention to. But one thing I want you to pay attention to while you're doing this plank is how it feels, how hard, how easy, where do you feel it? And then later on, I'm going to teach a plank in a different style, more likely than not, than you're used to. And I want you to try and kind of take an inventory of your body and feel if one of them feels different, if one of them feels harder, more challenging, where do you feel it? Okay. So for your plank, in a second, Tyler's going to start a timer. All you're going to do, get into your regular plank, nice and long. He's got it ready to go. And when he starts that, just get into your plank. And then later on, like I said, I'm going to teach probably a different style of plank, and I want you to kind of tell me which one feels harder, where do you feel them, okay? So Tyler, when you guys are ready, let's hit it.
Well, actually, Lee, can you show us the proper plank form that you want quickly?
So you'll have to just bear with me as I'm going to be kind of moving the computer around a little bit as we go. Kind of my little makeshift studio here. So the way most people do a plank, whenever I've gone to fitter and faster clinics, when they go into their plank, they kind of just come here, elbows, hands, and hold. I got to move back a little bit to get the screen. Here we go. And you're just holding. Okay. All
right. Here we're gonna start the timer in 3, 2, 1, and go. So hold that for 30 seconds. Hold it. Try to keep your hips from going too high. A lot of times when people do planks at this age, their hips get up too high, and we want you to try to keep the same line from your shoulders to your ankles. So keep your hips low enough, but not too low at the same time. We've got 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, and rest.
Nice job, guys.
All right, let's start this poll and see how many of you folks did it.
Yeah, and I'm going to ask in the comments, if you can, leave me the number one reason why you think you do planks. What's the importance of doing a plank as far as swimming is concerned? And I want Tyler to just kind of jot down a couple of the answers that we get, and we'll revisit that later.
Okay.
All right. Okay.
Looks like about 95% of people have said they did the plank, but I'd be surprised.
Good start. All right.
All right, cool.
For our workout today, I'm going to use a little bit of equipment. Some of you guys may have it. Some of you may not. What Tyler is about to post is a slide of kind of a care package. If I could send out very little equipment to all of my swimmers, this would be what I would send them. Mini bands, which you can see right there. It's going to be one of our first exercises today. We're going to use the mini bands. Some light dumbbells. Some bands, some tubing with handles, preferably, and or a band without handles, and a medicine ball. Now, if you don't have all that, that's okay. But these are the things that, especially if we're going to be quarantined for an extended period of time, these are pretty cost-efficient, pretty affordable things that you can have in your home, order, and keep somewhere. They're not going to take up a ton of space, and you can use them for a lot of different exercises. These resources allow you to have a lot of variance in your workouts and do a lot of different things. And
how heavy should the dumbbells be, Lee?
With this group, when we're talking about 12 and under, we're probably not going to need anything heavier than a 15-pound dumbbell. Now, keep in mind, we've got a lot of we have 12-year-olds who are very physically mature, and we have 12-year-olds who aren't. That's fine. Normally true resistance training, we start to kick in around 13, 14. With this group, like we said, we're working on athleticism, coordination, balance, stability more than we are with the weights. Whereas the group that we're talking to tomorrow, obviously, they're going to need more load because their bodies are more prepared for it.
Right. And just real quick for the chat, well, actually, to get back to something you asked earlier, the grand majority of people that answered your question about the plank said it's all for core stability and core stamina. So we can address that later. And I'm seeing a lot of people saying that, wait, what? Like, I don't have any of that stuff. Again, these are just some extra tools that you can have at home that are pretty easy to access and pretty easy to come by. You don't necessarily need those for the workout today, guys. So these are just suggestions that Lee's giving us. You don't need them for the workout today. But over the course of the next few weeks, if you're going to be, we all know that we're going to be working at home more, it would be a good idea to try and pick some of this stuff up. So maybe ask your parents if that's okay. If not, again, you don't have to have that stuff for today. So no worries. Go ahead, Lee.
Yep. And by the way, your parents, if they're trying to stay active as well, this is all equipment they can and should be using. I know I have a few of the parents of my swimmers on this particular webinar, and I guarantee the majority of them have these things in their home already. So everyone can take advantage of these. That being said, some of the stuff that we're going to use today, we already use some of the equipment, but I'll try and give you alternative exercises so that you won't need them, but they are certainly preferred because they allow you, again, more variability and start to allow you to deal with some resistance. Keep in mind, if you don't have a medicine ball, one of my favorite pieces of equipment in the house is this soup can, okay? I make this work for me plenty, okay, before I actually feed it to my kids. So you can be resourceful. You can find, if you don't have a 15-pound dumbbell or a 10-pound dumbbell, more than likely you can find something in your house that does weigh 10 pounds or does weigh 8 pounds. So just kind of have to use your head a little bit, kind of be a little creative. But we can all make do with what we got. I guarantee it. All right. So with that being said, let's get into the workout. If you've got a mat or some flooring that's good for this, fantastic. The first thing we're going to get into is a little bit of mobility. Okay. So with mobility, we're trying to get our body into different positions and try and get some flexibility in the areas where we need it. I talked a lot about stability, but mobility is also important in certain areas. So the first thing we're going to do is called cat-cow. It's really basic. If you've ever taken a yoga class or seen a yoga class, they typically do some version of this. I'm going to be positioning my body throughout, so hopefully I'm getting in the screen well. Tyler, I got a real small screen in front of me, so you'll tell me how well I'm positioned as I go.
Here, I'll go ahead and bring you back up so you can see yourself.
Fantastic. All right. So the first one, we got to push that table out of the way. There we go.
As you can see, everybody, we're trying to make the best of the space that we have. I believe that Lee is doing this workout in his dining room, but notice how he's cleared a space out for himself before we're getting started. So here we go.
All right. So I'm going to show you all these things from a couple of different angles so that you can kind of conceptualize what's happening, what's going on. So cat-cow, real basic. You're not going to feel a burn. It's not going to be terribly hard. We're trying to get movement in your spine, okay? So when you think butterfly, you're getting a lot of movement, a lot of fluidity through your spine, so we want to be able to access all of that. So you'll set up on all fours, knees down on the floor, low back, you can see right now has an arch. It's in what we call a neutral position. And then from there, you're going to tuck your tailbone under and tuck your head under and round out as much as you can, okay? Get that good round out. Now you're completely rounded from your spine all the way to your head. And then back. We're going to do 10 of those slow and controlled. Trying to move slowly, one segment of your spine at a time, round it out. And then bring it back. Tyler has an example of one of the workouts I've been sending out to people. He's going to he'll post that at a certain point. Some of these exercises are on it, some are not. I'm going to try and give you as much as I can today. We've got an hour. I think we got plenty of time to get through a lot of stuff.
Yep.
So once you're done with that, 10 should be getting there. The next thing you're going to do, see how much room I have, is what's called a bird dog. Bird dog is going to be opposite arm and leg are going to reach as far away from each other as possible. Again, trying to maintain that neutral spine so that you're not arching and you're not teetering over. You're trying to hold a good body position. You're going to hear me say the words body position a lot today. By body position, it's a lot like being in the water. You want to maintain good stability because the more efficient you are in the water, the better body positions you can hold in the water, the easier it's going to be to swim through the water and get to the walls faster. So again, body position here, opposite arm and leg. So in this example, right arm, left leg, reaching as far away from each other as possible, and then coming back together. Other side, you guys go at your pace. You don't need to go at my pace. I'm just kind of showing you. 10 of these on each side. Again, make sure you're not arching. Show you an example of a really bad arch. It should be a straight line from your head to your heel. And you do 10 on each side. Okay.
Cool.
Checking in with this.
Looked beautiful, by the way.
Whew, that was hard. That was like the most working out I've done all day. All right. The next couple are true mobility exercises. This one, my swimmers will hear it, will refer to it as world's greatest stretch. You'll also hear it referred to as elbow to instep. I'm going to kind of leave your screen for a second, but I'll come right back into it. I'm going to try and give you a couple different angles at this one. You're going to set up your feet shoulder width apart or hip width apart. And then you're going to take one leg and step it out as far as you can. Okay? From here, you're going to find the floor with your hands and try and form one straight line. So you don't want to be rounded. Form one straight line from the top of your head to that back heel. Once you've got that, my left knee is forward. I'm going to keep my right hand in contact with the floor, take my left one, bring my elbow to my instep of my shoe, so elbow to instep, and then reach for the ceiling. One thing I see a lot with swimmers is instead of rotating from here, they just throw their shoulder back because they have super hypermobile shoulders. They just want to get all this from their shoulder. I want you to get it from your trunk, rotating from your torso. So here, elbow in, rotate, look up to the ceiling, back down, find the floor with your hands, and then rock back until you feel a nice stretch in here, and then stand up. I'll show you the other side, rotating the other way. Big step, find the floor with both hands, and then right away, the cue that I like to use is strong as steel from head to heel. One straight line from the top of your head to that back heel. So see one straight line there. Elbow comes in, and then rotate out, look up at your hand, make sure you're not rotating from your shoulder, you're rotating from here. Deep breath in through your nose, out through your mouth. Find the floor, rock back, stand up. I'm going to give you guys time to do 3 of those on each side.
So go ahead and do 3 of those elbow to instep stretches on each side. So go ahead and go at your own pace. Make sure you've got good form. We want you to be doing this as much with good form instead of just banging out the reps as possible. In swimming, as we all know, it's so much about doing things with proper technique. And if you force yourself to do things with proper technique, that's going to mean you're more aware of your body, and that's going to make you a better swimmer over time.
One thing I didn't mention today, hopefully everyone has their water with them. Consuming lots of water right now, both for overall health, wellness, and fitness, but also for your immune system. The more hydrated you are, the better your immune system performs. Okay, I think we've gotten through enough of those. I'm going to tilt this up a little bit.
It looks like most people actually brought a water bottle with them. About 70% of people are saying they brought a water bottle with them to work out. So that's awesome. It's that the commute to this particular workout is really far. So yeah. I'm glad that they brought a water bottle.
If you don't have water, I'm sure you can pack some down pretty quickly. All right, so the next one, I got to kind of make sure you can also see my feet here. Because it's less about seeing my head. Okay, so this is a minivan as I talked about. Now, a lot of you are not going to have a minivan. There is a link to one place where you can get them. It's called Perform Better. That's where I got these. Super cheap. They probably have a lot of them, so you can get them. It's a really versatile tool. If you don't have these, I'm going to give you an alternative in a second, so don't fret. If you do, or if you're going to get them so you can learn this exercise, just kind of pay attention for now. Band is going to go above your knees, smoothed out. From here, you're going to do a little quarter squat. So if you can see me from the side, little knee bend like that, okay? See my feet, they're facing straight forward. They're not turned out, okay? From here, little quarter squat. One knee comes in and then pushes out. You do 10 of those on one side, 10 of them on the other side, and then 10 with both like that. You're pushing out. You should be feeling this back here, what's called your glute medius or your side butt muscles, okay? Really important for all swimmers to have strong glutes because your glutes are right in the middle of your body. They are responsible for transferring strength and power from your lower body to your upper body to your lower body. If you're not efficient there and you're not strong there, all you're doing is flailing. Okay, so the stronger you are back here in your hip complex, the better you're going to be in the water. Okay, once you've done 10 of each of those, the last exercise you would do is slides. I'm probably going to slide out of your screen and back into your screen. My apologies. So you start here and you just slide. Stay low in your hips. Maybe I can stay in your screen if I do 5 to one side and 5 to the other. Starting to light up back here. 5 one side, 5 the other side, twice. Okay? If you've got mini bands, you're doing that right now, great. If you need an alternative without a band, without equipment, let's give it to you right now. Okay? Angle this down. Okay, a couple different things you can do. One, a little more passive. If you lie down like this, your bottom knee comes up, your top leg is straight, and you're just going to do leg raises. Let's do this one together because I think most of you guys don't have mini bands yet. Maybe you will at some point. 10 of these, slow and controlled. When you're done with that, 10 knee drives up, making sure these knees do not connect. Again, this is going to start to work this glute up here because it's keeping your leg from doing that. Okay?
And notice he's also not bringing his leg up higher than his normal body line. This is great. He's trying to keep his leg moving straight in line the whole time. He's not letting it drop and he's not letting it go up in the air either. It's just straight in line.
Perfect point, Tyler. So yeah, if I'm doing this like this, I'm now getting other muscles involved, or if I'm letting it drop to here, I'm turning these guys off. Okay? And then the third one, this should be starting to get a little burny here. The next one is small circles, 10 in one direction and 10 in the other. Make sure you're not turning out your leg or circling too big, because then again, you're going to start to recruit other muscles that we don't need. We're trying to work on these glutes. So small circles, straight leg. Hopefully you're starting to feel that. You've done 10 of each, and then we'll just switch sides. Okay? Toe pointed down and in, leg is straight. 10 here. Again, working on these glutes. 10 here. Take your time, don't rush. And 10 here. You do not need to go at my pace right now. Go at your own pace. We'll give you time to finish everything. And in a lot of cases, we'll be doing 2 to 3 sets of these, especially because you guys have tons of time to be doing them right now. But for today's purposes, I want to make sure I get through a lot of exercises that can help you guys right away.
Yeah, absolutely. Sounds good. It looks like a lot of people have done that one, and it seems like there's a little bit of confusion over, what the question was, but most people are doing this exercise right along with you. So make sure that you guys get all the sets in. Even if you don't get all the sets in right now, like Lee just said, you're going to have plenty of time right after this to do it at your own pace. So we encourage you, once we flash the workout up on the screen here again at the end of our session, go ahead and go through that again, later on and get some of the sets in that you might not have been able to do right away.
All right, so the next exercise, which I absolutely love, my swimmers all hate it. They almost never get through a workout without doing at least one during movement prep, if not multiple times throughout the workout. And it's either called a baby crawl or a baby bear crawl. What you're going to do for setup, we'll go right back to that quadruped or that all fours position. I'm going to show you this from a couple of different angles. You're going to make sure your hands are stacked underneath your shoulders and your knees are stacked underneath your hips. Okay? From there, you're going to take your knees an inch from the floor. Okay? So you're forming a tabletop position. And then from here, you're going to crawl forward, and if you can, backwards, 20 steps forward, 20 steps back. So I'll start back here a little bit so I've got more room to crawl. You can see here, it's going to be opposite hand and foot. So the first thing when we talk about coordination is a lot of people aren't going to be able to tie it together opposite hand and foot. So you don't want to go left hand, left foot at the same time. You want to go opposite. So right hand, left foot, left hand, right foot. Okay? Slow and controlled. Hips stay down. So you're trying not to do this or this. You're trying to keep your hips down, hands underneath your shoulders, knees underneath your hips. Small
So
step.
a good way to imagine this is as if you're trying to carry a saucer with a cup of milk on that saucer that's placed right in the middle of your back. So you don't want your hips and your shoulders to be rotating. You want there to be one flat plane that you walk forward and walk backwards.
Perfect. Once you've done 20, you're going to go backwards. So same thing. This will be the tougher one. Opposite hand and foot. Leave and land at the same time. Keeping your hips level, hands underneath your shoulders, knees underneath your hips. If you're doing that slow and controlled, that should get pretty exhausting both on your core and on your shoulders. Okay?
See if they've done it. All right. Let us know if you did some baby bear crawls with us. Obviously, you're going to be able to do more of these later, folks. This is, sort of everybody's doing this one, which is awesome. Everybody's able to do this one. About 90% of people are saying that they did it, which is awesome. I'm glad you guys were able to do a set with us. Definitely, write this down. One thing that would be really good for everybody to be doing is if you have like something to write on, write down your notes of the exercise, because you might call it something different and you might have some notes to yourself that we've been talking about that just taking a screenshot of that workout might not tell you. So this is a great way to start practicing journaling.
All right. So let's get into a little bit of our strength stuff now. The first exercise I'm going to choose is simple. Everyone does it, whether it's PE, at home, part of your Dryland currently. It's a push-up. Now, I'm pretty particular about the types of push-ups I have people do. So I'm going to go over a couple right now. The first one is going to be just your regular progressed push-up, okay? So you'll set up with your hands shoulder width apart. What I want you to do without getting too complicated here is when you're doing push-ups, make sure your hands are never facing in like this. They don't necessarily need to be turned out like this, but they cannot be turned over like this. This is called internal rotation at your shoulder. And swimmers do a ton of internal rotation already as part of their sport. We don't need to throw more internal rotation at the shoulder as part of their strength program. Okay? So what I want you to think about is neutral position with your hands. And then once your hands hit the floor and you start doing your push-ups, I want you to create some friction between your hands and the floor. So pretend that you're trying to rip the floor apart like this or turn two knobs out. Okay? Don't actually do that as part of the push-up. Just create that friction like you're trying to. That will take your push-ups from here to here. So we don't want your elbows up here by your ears. We want your elbows to start to come down a little bit more towards mid-chest rather than up here towards your ears. Hope that makes sense. And if you guys can feel yourself creating that friction with the floor, you'll know what I'm talking about. It sets your shoulders up in a much better position. Okay? So you'll set up with your hands shoulder width apart, underneath your shoulders, not up above them. Legs straight out like this. And then from there, you'll create that friction where you're trying to pull the floor apart or turn those two knobs. And then you're just going to go down under control and up. Okay? That last little bit's really important, that little punch away from the floor. With this, you have to make sure you're maintaining a neutral spine. Neutral spine means that when you go down, you're not arching your low back. Your butt's not in the air. You're not rounding. You're trying to, again, form a straight line from head to heel as you go down and as you go up.
And notice that he's not actually taking a micro nap on the ground in between every push-up, folks. He's just getting that far away from the floor and then pushing the floor away from himself. It's a really important point.
A really good way to determine how far down you should be going is put a tennis ball right around mid-chest, and can you hit that tennis ball? Not rest on it, but hit a tennis ball. If you can, you're getting good depth. Now, if you can't get that far down, and it's either hurting your shoulder, hurting your elbow, or you just can't get down that far, or you're breaking down as far as your body position, the regression, which I have most swimmers your age do, is from your knees. Okay? So from your knees doesn't mean do this. Okay? And that's a lot of what I see. When you go to your knees, I want you to tuck your tailbone and again try and find that straight line from head, now not head to heel, but head to knees. And then you're going to lower yourself under control and push up. Now what we've done is you're not doing a push-up with all of your body weight. We've taken a good portion of that lever or a good portion of that weight, and removed it. So it's a lot easier to do. But when we go to this regression, a lot of times I will see butts in the air or rolling forward, rolling back up. I still want you to get that straight line. Now the straight line is just head to knees, not head to heels.
So as Lee's explaining this, you should be trying to get 3 sets of 10 in here. And I'm going to ask people how many sets that they did. So be ready for that. So 3 sets of 10. We're going to give you a little bit of time to do that now. We'll start the timer with 30 seconds. If you can get, a bunch of them done in that amount of time, great. If not, no big deal. We're just going to ask you how you did. Let Lee hydrate himself there. He's working hard.
That's a lot of talking. So what I want you guys to think about with push-ups and why they're important to you, obviously upper body strength is really important. Think more in terms of your age right now, less about upper body strength and more about shoulder stability, okay? Good body position. Remember when I said when you're doing that push-up, that last, so you come down, 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 and then push away, away. Don't stop here, push it away. That little punch, not information that you need as 9, 10, 11, 12-year-olds, but it's called a serratus punch. And your serratus are muscles that kind of create that little protraction there at the end, and they're really important for shoulder stability. So a lot of what we're going to do today is going to focus on shoulder stability, because if you have good shoulder stability at a young age, you have less injury risk later, and you don't have to worry about swimming-related injuries later. All you have to worry about is swimming fast, listening to your coaches, and getting better.
Absolutely. So it looks like most people did 20 to 30 push-ups, and about an equal number did 10 to 20 push-ups, which is pretty good. So obviously, this for a lot of the younger swimmers, this can be kind of a tough exercise. But if you get working at it, you'll be surprised how many you're going to be able to do, especially if you follow the right technique that Lee was just laying out for us. You're going to get really good at these, folks. So good job. Thanks for staying engaged. Keep it up. We've got another 20 or 30 minutes or so. So just keep at it. Y'all are doing a great job.
You guys are rocking it so far. All right, next one. So that was working on upper body. It's an upper body push exercise. Now we're going to do a lower body backside exercise. So we're going to work on your hamstrings and your glutes, okay? Again, the backside of your body is going to be what makes you more stable and more powerful in the water. Everyone loves doing push-ups. It's the backside of your body that's going to keep you both protected and help you as far as creating force in the water. Okay.
And these are called single leg glute raises, right?
Yeah, we're going to do well. So what we're going to do is, this is called a single leg glute raise or a glute bridge. What we'll do is we'll do a bilateral or both legs first, so you get used to that, and then we'll try it with a single leg so that you can get a feel for both. When you do this with both legs, it'll probably be easy, but I just want you to kind of get a feel for what it feels like. Okay. So you're going to lie back, hips in line with knees, in line with feet. Okay. From there, you're going to try and tuck your tailbone. So when you do this, when you tuck your tailbone, your low back is going to flatten to the floor. Okay. And then from there, you're going to push your heels through the floor and push your butt up in the air. Okay.
And notice how he's got one straight line there, folks, from his knees to his shoulders. He's doing a really good job at that. You don't need to go higher than that, but we definitely want to make sure that there's one straight line from the knees to the shoulders.
Yeah, Tyler brings up a good point there. If I try to go higher, this is how far I can extend my hips personally. If I try and go higher, I'd have to do it by extending my ribs. Now I'm putting my low back at risk, and I have more risk than I do reward. Okay, so again, think about first thing is tuck your tailbone so that your low back flattens, and then slowly push up so that one segment of your spine at a time leaves the floor until you're up on your shoulders and your heels, and that's it. Squeezing here. I want you to think about squeezing your butt muscles. This always gets a good laugh out of my fitter and faster clinics. I want you to pretend when you're at the top of this that you've got a $100 bill between your butt cheeks and you don't want it to get away. Okay? So squeeze like you don't want to lose that $100 bill. And then back down under control and everything relaxes. You should be feeling this both in your glute, your butt, and possibly a little bit in your hamstrings. Okay?
So how many of these should they be doing right now, Lee?
So that 10 is a good warm-up. Now, if we're going to do the single leg version, what you do is you pick one leg up, you keep that, each leg flush. So we're not going like this or like this. We're keeping the legs flush with each other, and you're just going to push up using just that one leg. So now I'm just using my right glute to push all of my body weight. So I'm feeling a ton of right glute, left glute is turned off, soft. Okay? Down under control. Push up. 1 second squeeze. Back down. 10 on each leg. Same thing on this leg. Push up. This should feel a lot tougher. You should be getting a lot of that single leg, the standing leg glute work.
Very good. All right, we're going to give you another 30 seconds, y'all, to do some of these on your own. Timer has started, so go ahead and do 10 double leg glute raises and do 10 single leg glute raises on each side. Also, while you're doing your exercises, I want everybody to let you know, if you wait until the end of the webcast, we're going to make sure to send you a replay of this video so you can watch it again at any time. But we're also going to include links to some of these, some of the training tools that Lee put up on the screen earlier, so that you can purchase them if you want. So just wait till the end for that, and we'll make sure we get that information to you. So putting up a poll now. We want to know how many of you guys did the glute raises. It's looking like the grand majority of people, once again, are doing glute raises. You guys are awesome. Keep staying engaged. This is great. We're getting through the workout pretty well. What's next, Lee?
All right, so next is a prone Y, T, and A, or prone Y, T, W. I like both. You can very easily, if you have nothing in your house, do this with nothing but the weight of your arms. If you want to add a little resistance, here's where my trusty soup cans come in. Okay? You can get a lighter soup can or a heavier soup can, but you need, if you're using soup cans or anything else, make sure they're the same weight. I don't want 1 pound here and 3 pounds here. Okay? So I'm going to check this out to make sure that the camera is pointing even farther down so that you can kind of see me from the top a little bit. All right. Okay. So with the soup cans, what you're going to do here, first one is a Y. All right. So you're going to rest like this. Prone means on your chest or lying flat on your face and chest. All you're going to do is raise these. Everything else stays still. You're just going to raise these 2 soup cans or your arms into a Y position. So it would look just like this. Head stays down, up. Nice 1 second hold, and then back down under control. If you've got the soup cans or anything else nice and light, very light dumbbells. I would suggest nothing more than 3 pounds right now at this age group, probably even less. Up and down under control. 1 second hold. So don't do this. We're not swimming. We're working on the muscles that support your stroke and support your shoulders so that you can swim well. Because when you're swimming, you're going to come into that internal rotation, right? And pull. We want to work on the muscles on the back side of that so that you're strong and stable. So this would be 5 of them here. That's your Y. Okay? Let me readjust that and get a little.
Yeah, raise it up just a little bit.
Yeah, there we go. Okay. Now, next one is a T. Right? So now you take your hands out to the side. You want to be careful with these where you're not letting these guys, these neck muscles or upper trap muscles, take over to where you're bunching up and your shoulders are coming up towards your ears. You want to think about getting your shoulder blades down and back. And lift. 1 second hold, and then back down. Those. Third one's an A. Down here. And you can take your palms down on this one and just lift. Shoulders down and back away from your ears, not lifted up towards your ears. Down and back away from your ears.
Great form, great form.
I think on the sheet that we're going to send out, it's YTA. I'm going to add a W, okay? W would look like this. And just think about what letter you're forming out of your body. We're just going to go here. Down the back, elbows away. So you guys can see that. And then back down under control.
So let's give everybody some time to do these. I'm going to start another 30-second timer. Here we go. And really quick, while everybody's doing that, I just want to mention something that I think Lee is kind of getting at. All of the swimmers have that like characteristic swimmer slouch. Everybody sits here like this. And that's because we're such front dominant athletes. We use so many muscles on the front side of our body. But really doing these well is going to help you strengthen the backside of your body, and it's going to make you overall a better athlete because your backside of your body is going to be able to support the strength on the front side of your body. All right, the time's up. I'm going to put up a poll to see how many of you guys how many of you guys like the YTAs. These personally are not one of my favorite exercises, but that means that I'm supposed to do this more because the backside of my body wasn't all that strong. So if you feel like these are working you really hard, that probably means you need to do it more. 80% of people saying they like these things. So everybody's liking what you're doing, Lee. Keep it up, man.
Awesome. Yeah, Tyler brings up a really good point. If you only did the stuff that you were great at and that came easy to you, you would never improve. The improvement comes in the stuff that's tough. So just think about it that way. Like I said, my swimmers hate the bear crawls. And every time they tell me they hate the bear crawls, that's why I know they should be in the program. Okay? So it's okay if they don't like me. I don't need to be liked.
No, 83% of the people say they like the exercise. I don't want to put up whether or not they like you.
There's 4 or 5 people that like me, and that's because they told me they were checking it before. The rest, it's okay. All right. So we're going to go to our next strength block. The first exercise is squat. Now, at this age group, I don't think you need to add a lot of weight. You need to master the movement pattern of squatting. Tyler, is my voice projecting okay?
Yeah, you sound great.
Sweet. All right. So if you can add load as you get to 11, 12 years old, great. But it's not terribly necessary. It's more about mastering or really being proficient at the squat pattern. Okay? So there is no right or wrong. There's no perfect way to squat as far as foot positioning. If you go into strength and conditioning forums, you'll hear a million people tell you this is the way to squat or that's the way to squat. Right now, I want you to think about squatting as can you do the pattern well without pain and feel the muscles that you want to feel, okay? So as you squat, I'm going to preface by saying if you feel a lot of strain or pull in your knees, you're missing one or more of the cues. Ask me later if you do feel this in your knees, and we'll kind of revisit the cues that you need to pay attention to in order to perform a good squat. So,
yeah, and just again, real quick, chat. I know that chat has been disabled. We're going to open chat up towards the end of the session, so hang on until we're finished. We'll open chat back up, and you guys can ask all your questions and anything like that so that Lee and I can address them at the end. Go ahead, Lee.
All right. So you set up your feet about shoulder width, hip width to shoulder width apart. My one rule, if we're going to call it a rule, is your feet should never be facing in. So if you guys can see my feet, I wear white shoes so they kind of stand out. They should never be facing in. Because if they're facing in, your knees are going to dive in, and you're going to feel nothing but knees, and you're never going to get to a good squat. If I tried to squat as low as I could, this is about it with my knees facing in. Now, if my knees are here, if my feet are here or wider, I'm not saying you guys need to squat here, but I can hang out down here and get tons of depth. And now I can start to address the muscles I want to address. Okay. So with that being said, feet are going to be about shoulder width to hip width apart. You can slightly angle the feet out if that makes you feel more comfortable. I know some of you guys who predominantly do breaststroke, you're probably going to be really comfortable out here. You probably squat here and love it because you have a little bit more mobility built in here. Okay. So what we're going to do for our squat, I want you to think about keeping your heels in contact with the floor. Okay. So watching this from the side. Make sure that when you go down, your heels don't lift up. They stay in contact with the floor. That's going to be your best, give you the best idea of how low you should go in your squat. Go as low as you can while maintaining heels in contact with the ground. Okay? So you'll squat down under control. You can put your hands out in front of you if you want. Put them here, wherever you want. Okay? So you'll squat down under control and up. Again, think about those knees not diving in. If you remember the cue from push-ups, where we're creating that friction with the floor where we're trying to turn out. Same thing with your feet. Grab the floor with your big toes and spread the floor with your feet so your knees start to go out a little bit. Down and up. I'm gonna have Tyler post a quick poll. What muscles do you think we're working here when we squat? Okay? I won't say anything yet. We'll see what everyone thinks. and then I want you to squat. So we'll go down under control, slow and control on the way down, and then drive up, okay, to a fully stacked position, straight body. Down under control and up. If you're watching from the side, down under control, notice my spine is still pretty much in neutral. I'm not doing this as I squat. I'm not falling backwards either. You don't necessarily need to stay straight up and down. You're just trying to maintain what's called neutral spot. So under control and back up.
So your poll should be up. Do us a favor and let us know what you think. I'm going to add a 1-minute timer. You guys should, let's try to do 3 sets of 15. If you can't get all 3 sets of 15 done within that minute, that's no problem. We just want you to take a minute and actually do some of these because this is meant to be a live workout. We want you guys working out with us. We're trying to get fitter and faster while we're not in the pool. So, while you guys are doing that, a lot of people have already responded to the poll. It looks like about 50% of people say that we're working our quads, 20% of people say we're working glutes, 20% of people say calves, and about 7 to 10% people don't have any idea which muscles we're working. So we'll talk about that in a second.
What muscles are. Quads is a great answer. Glutes is a great answer. Your calves aren't necessarily working, but as you go down, they are going into a little bit of a stretch. The other one is your hamstrings are getting involved. So when we try to prioritize or pick our exercises, this is a big bang for your buck exercise because it gets a lot of muscles involved, and you use all these muscles in swimming. So we want to pick big movements that address a lot of muscles, especially right now where we're spending too much time on our couch or just sitting around waiting for things to happen. So the more muscles we can get involved, the better. I mentioned earlier, if you do have equipment, I wanted to make sure I gave you the progression. This is called a goblet squat, where you're holding the weight like this. You can hold it like this. If you've got something heavy, 10 pounds, just hold it in front of you. And then same thing, I'll kind of show you from a little bit of a 45-degree angle. Hold the weight, squat under control, stand up. Squat under control, stand up. Just make sure when you go down that, again, you can see my feet, we're not getting this, where the heels are lifting up. You want to maintain that heel contact with the floor throughout the exercise.
Yep. And I'm asking the chat right now over another poll how many squat sets of 15 reps they did. And about 60% of people said they did all 3 sets. 35% of people did 2, and about 5% of people said they got 1. So even if you only got 1, y'all, thank you for doing this work with us. We need to be making the best use of our time right now while we're all kind of cooped up at home. If you want to do more sets after this, go for it. So Lee, take it away.
Okay, so the next exercise is one that is going to require some piece of equipment, okay? We talked about how important your back muscles are and that backside is in swimming because you're doing so much here, so much in front of you, whether it's pull, everything is kind of rounding you forward. Walking around like this, writing like this, parents driving your car like this, sitting the TV like this, computer, everything is out in front of you. Swim is the same thing for the most part. So we want to work on that backside. This is a band. You can find lots of different resistances. Find one that you can perform this exercise well and make sure that your shoulders are in a good position. I'll show you what a good versus a bad position looks like.
And while he's getting set, once again, y'all, if you don't have access to any of this stuff, if you hang around to the end, you're going to get a replay video or an email from us, and we're going to provide you links to where you can pick some of this stuff up. So if you can't do this exercise with us right now, that's okay. Just watch, listen, and learn from Lee. And then in the future, when you're able to do this, we encourage you to do it because it's such a great exercise.
Yep. Rowing is probably, if you gave me one exercise for the upper body to work on with swimmers, it would be variations of rowing, working on those back muscles, your lats, your rear delts, your rhomboids, the muscles that are responsible for that shoulder positioning and postural positioning. Okay, so you'll find a way to attach that band to something. Give yourself a little quarter squat for positioning, and then pull. 1 second squeeze. Pull. Chest stays lifted. Okay, so a bad position would be rounded and pulling, or as you pull, hopefully you can pick this up. I'll try and show you from this position. When you pull, if your shoulder is tipping forward like this will actually cause more harm than have benefit. So you want to make sure when you row that the shoulder stays down and back
Yeah.
Here.
And one thing to imagine is to try to imagine that with your shoulder blades, you're trying to squeeze together the ace of spades, the playing cards where we play poker and that kind of stuff, or whatever games y'all play nowadays. You're trying to squeeze one of those cards in between your shoulder blades every time you do this exercise.
Hopefully the 9 to 12-year-olds are playing Uno and not poker, but I'm there. So yeah, the cue that we give is try and squeeze a pencil between your shoulder blades, same type of idea, okay? So if you don't have a band currently, find something that has some weight to it. I'm going to show you another version of this thing you're probably not going to find unless you have a dumbbell. Again, soup can probably not quite heavy enough, but if you have a dumbbell, awesome. And I'm going to show you a version of that exercise. Make sure you're not setting up on something that's going to slide and move on you. You're going to try and get your chest close to parallel to the floor. Let me see if I get a good angle here. So chest close to parallel to the floor, and then you're going to row this dumbbell like that. This should be relatively light at your age, but you should be able to feel these muscles back here. This is my right side. The right shoulder, lat, those back muscles that are responsible for pulling. Squeeze and let it out under control. And again, we should be going for 12 to 15 reps per side on that one, or 15 total with the band.
All right, we'll give everybody 30 seconds right now. I've started the timer. Let's see how many of y'all are going to do some of these rows. If as many of you guys actually brought a water bottle with you, as you said, you could even use the water bottle. So use your water bottle, get some of those rows in, and try to really pull those shoulders back to try and squeeze that pencil in between your shoulder blades. So we got 10 more seconds. Go ahead and bang those out. And we'll ask you how many of you guys did this. It's so awesome that you guys are here with us. We've got so many people here. This is great. We want to continue doing this for y'all. And it's especially awesome to know that you guys are engaging with us and doing the exercises at the same time. So keep it up. We're doing good. This is awesome.
All right, guys. So when we get there, the next exercise is going to be, again, another shoulder stability exercise, but it's also going to require a lot of your core, okay? So it's a combination of a push-up and a bear crawl. We're not going to move, but we're going to hold a body position. So let me slide this down just an inch. Okay, so we're going to take a high plank position. So the plank that you guys probably did earlier was this guy, okay? A high plank is from your hands. I want you to set up so your hands are right underneath your shoulders. Your legs are extended but wide. So hands are narrow, feet are wide, so you can keep your hips nice and stable as you do this. Okay, so you'll be here. And then the exercise is going to be real simple, but it won't feel simple. You're going to pick up one hand and touch your shoulder, and then pick up the other hand and touch your shoulder. Okay? If this feels too tough and you find yourself doing this, or your butt's kicking up in the air, don't dust the ceiling with your butt. Go to the modification or regression, which again is just knees on the floor. Get your brace in your core, and then touch your shoulder. Touch your shoulder. I can still make myself feel this if I'm paying attention. This is the progress version that is a little tougher. Tap and tap. Okay? We'll go for 16 of those, 8 on each side.
All right, we're starting the timer once again. Let's go for 8 each side. This is awesome, y'all. We're getting near the end of the workout. Don't start feeling like this is going to go on forever. We've definitely covered most of this stuff. And again, the beauty of what we're doing right now is we're just detailing these exercises with you. Be writing this stuff down and use this stuff later on today. And make sure you join us again next week, because we're going to have Lee back on next week to do another one of these workouts with y'all. So make sure that you come back and be looking out for messages from us. All right. Go ahead and take a rest.
All right, guys. So I want you to think of that particular exercise as both core and shoulders and how they're connected. Okay. The last thing we have today is some basic core exercises. We're going to do 3. The first one is called a hollow hold. All right. Now with this one, there's a bunch of different ways to do it. And it's funny, my kids, when I told them, my kids are 10 and 7, when I told them I was going to be doing this, they asked me, how am I going to be able to see everyone to make sure they're doing everything right? The only people I can see are me and Tyler. So it's very hard for me to coach you through these and know that you're doing it right. and know that you're holding these positions. I'm going to give you the cues. Parents, if you're there with them, kind of check in on a couple of things for me. Be my eyes and ears, okay? So with this one, I will hold, angle this down just a tad. Okay, one of these positions is going to look very familiar to you when we get there to the progress version. You're going to lie back, and then you're going to pick up your legs and pick up your arms. I want you to push your low back into the floor. So parents, if you're there, coaches, make sure that you can't slide anything in here. They should be holding a brace in their core so that nothing can slide in under their low back. This is what's called a streamline hollow hold. If that's too hard and your low back is arching as you're doing that, or you're feeling low back pain, you're just going to do it with your hands here. So easier, harder, okay? Make sure you're holding that brace. If you want to make this harder, add some kicks at your hips. So you're not doing this. Add some long lever kicks the way you would in the water. But the most important thing is don't get ahead of yourself. Make sure you can hold this brace or this brace, whichever one it is, so your low back never leaves the floor. Most important thing. If you've got a low back arch, you're probably adding a little strain to your low back versus working on your core, okay? This is a huge one for holding body positions. Tyler, we can throw up a poll. This particular exercise, obviously streamline is one part of it, but what do we think, where do we think that translates to your sport? What part of your sport does that exercise help? And there are quite a few answers, by the way. You're going to hold that for 20 seconds.
Okay, I'll put up while everybody's getting set up. We've got a timer going for 20 seconds now. So let's do another one of these after you've answered the poll. Hold that sucker for 20 seconds. And then if you want to do more after this, you certainly can. Halfway there.
Big thing, guys, make sure you're not holding your breath. If you're holding your breath, you're defeating the purpose. Can you breathe normally while holding that body position?
All right, and rest. So most people are answering the poll saying 60% saying it's just helping core in general. About 35% are saying it's helping with their streamline, and 3% don't really know.
Okay, so think about your dolphin kicks. Think about your body positions in the water. If you're able to hold those body positions and be strong and stable through your core, and core was a great answer. Very obviously, we're working your core. If you're able to hold those body positions, your dolphin kicks will be great. Your walls will be great. Okay? Think in those terms. You can get off a wall faster and dolphin kick better and get into your stroke better. What does that mean as far as your ability to get from one wall to the other wall as quickly as possible? All right? Next exercise. Side plank. A lot of different ways you can do this one as well. The regular side plank that you guys think of is this one right here. Feet are stacked on top of each other. Elbow, big point here. Elbows stay stacked underneath of your shoulder. I see way too many, especially younger swimmers, setting up their side planks like this and they go up. This is a ton of strain on shoulder rather than what we actually want to address. So stack your elbow underneath of your shoulder and then push up and lift your hips.
One straight line. You don't want that line to tilt out ahead of your body like Lee was showing earlier. You want it to be one straight line from your elbow to your shoulder that goes straight up and down.
Straight line, hold, 15 seconds. If you're having a hard time holding that position, feel it too much in your shoulder, hips are dipping, here's a regression that I like a lot, which is just put the bottom knee down on the floor and put the bottom foot behind you and lift up here. Now again, much like with the push-up modification, we're lifting up and holding less of our body weight. If you want to add something fun to it, you can add a little glute work here while holding this body line. We'll do 15 seconds per side.
All right, we'll go ahead and get started in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 for side number 1. Go ahead. Hold it. Try and keep that straight line. Try and keep your hips in line from your shoulders to your ankles. You want there to be one straight line. Okay. Here we go. Hold it, hold it, hold it. All right, and relax.
Crushing it.
Okay, we'll switch to the other side. Go ahead and get set. We'll get started in 3, 2, 1, and hold. Got 15 seconds on the clock. Keep it up. Got 10 more. Then we're going to move on to the next exercise. We're almost there. Hold it. 5 seconds. Keep it up, keep it up, keep it up. And relax. All right. We want to know from y'all, how many of you guys did the side planks on both sides? Go ahead and answer the poll on the right-hand side of your screen. Let us know how you did. Again, like the grand majority of y'all are doing this. This is awesome, man. It's over 90%, just like the last several exercises. This is great. We got one more exercise, right, Lee?
Absolutely. So this is fantastic. When you guys get back to your coaches, whenever we're allowed to get back in the water, you guys are stronger, more stable, moving better. They're going to be thrilled. Okay. So think in those terms. If you can make yourself a better, more stable athlete, by the time you get back into the water, you'll just be able to focus on swimming again. Last one, if you have a medicine ball, great. If you have nothing, you can just simply use your arms, soup can, dumbbell, whatever it's going to be. So first positioning, you're going to have a nice long spine, and then you're going to lift your legs up like this, okay? From here, you're going to grab your resistance if you have it, and you're going to rotate. You guys have probably done this one before. It's called a Russian twist, okay? Once you've got the movement, I want you to pick up speed a little bit. See this from the front. I see a lot of people when they do this, okay? Just moving my arms. Does something, we can be more efficient. We can have a better use of our time. So what you're gonna do is let your head follow the weight, follow your arms, so that you are rotating through here. Big thing with this exercise, I see a lot of people, they'll do this with medicine balls on a pool deck, and they'll bring the ball all the way to the floor, and they'll hit the floor. In that case, the floor stops the weight, stops the momentum of the ball. I want you to stop the momentum of the ball using your core. So when you're moving fast, I want your core to decelerate or stop that weight. Weight's going this way, my core stops it and gets it going the other way, okay? So that's the modification I want you guys to make if you've been doing the one where you touch the floor, okay? Here to here, pick up speed. You'll feel that a lot more if you go fast, relatively fast, don't rush. And you stop the weight rather than stopping the weight with the floor. If we do 40, that would be perfect. So either 1, 2, 3, 4, or 20 if you're doing 1, 2.
Okay, go ahead, bang those out on your own. We won't put up a timer. Just go ahead and get them done at your own pace. We want to make sure you do this right. Remember, you don't want to touch the weight to the ground on either side. You want to be controlling that weight the whole way, making sure you're not just moving your arms, you're moving your whole torso. All right, go ahead and get 20 to each side. While Lee's getting set up, we'll go ahead and publish this poll. We want to know if you did the Russian twists. You guys are awesome, man. You guys are awesome. This is great. And this is really cool because this is the first time we've done this. So it's been really great to see how engaged you guys have been. We definitely want to do this some more, and you guys being more engaged is going to keep us coming back and doing this for you guys. So this is great. I'm going to go ahead and re-enable the chat. Okay, everybody. So we want you now to go ahead and start asking any questions. Let us know how you felt about the workout. Let us know what exercises you might want us to do next week. We really want to hear from you now. Again, what did you think of the workout? Did you like it? Did you dislike it? What do you want to see next week? Let us know in chat. What questions do you have? Here's a good one. What should we be doing for ankle flexibility?
Okay. So depending on why you think you need ankle flexibility, that's kind of a loaded question, as a lot of these will be because every athlete is different. But and it also depends on what type of ankle flexibility you need, whether it's lateral, so if it's plantar flexion to dorsiflexion, which is this, or rotational. The best thing that kind of addresses a lot of it is doing what's called a 3-way ankle drill. I'm going to try and show it to you, but you've got to be able to see my ankle. It's going to be tough. Let's see what I can work out. Okay. Yeah, that actually might not be that bad. Okay. So everyone's done this calf stretch before, right? Everyone's done this calf stretch. Still not low enough, I guess. We got to be able to get my ankle. There we go. Okay, so everyone's done this one, right? Where you push against the wall and you feel that calf stretch. Okay? The way that you make this a three-way drill, well, first of all, you can make it a little more active by driving forward and back, forward and back. Second way you can change it is by changing the front leg. So if I take this leg out here, my arm's here, see how my ankle now changes where it has to go, what it has to react to? So now I'm going that way. And then if I change my orientation a little bit this way, and I drive across that way, I'm changing what this ankle has to do. So now if you can see me from a little farther away, you might not be able to see the ankle in this one. But this is straight forward, out to the side, and out to the side. Trying to keep this heel down the entire time.
Very good. So I'm seeing a lot of people asking after a while, should they do more reps? And the answer is you should do more reps as you get better and more proficient at this. So only do as many reps as you can continue on with good form. I'm also seeing a lot of people asking, where should they get equipment? And again, for most of you guys who have stayed for this long, you guys are going to get an email that's going to have a link to this replay. And we're going to make sure that you guys have links so that you can go directly to some other websites and buy some of this equipment. Thankfully, it's really easy to find in a lot of other places. And most of it is pretty cheap. So no worries on that. I'm also seeing, a couple things about breaststroke stretches. Breaststroke is a really groin intensive stroke. So anytime you can do like a butterfly stretch, I don't know if Lee, if you want to show us a good butterfly stretch real quick, that'd be great. Sure. But generally the best breaststrokers in the world have pretty flexible groins, and they're able to really strengthen because they stretch after almost every single workout. So go ahead and show us that stretch, Lee.
Okay, so I've got a few, and full disclosure, I love working with breaststrokers. So, and my breaststrokers who are on here or who are following me on social media, they already know. So, a couple things that you can do. Number one, what's called tactical frog. Knees out wide, and then find the floor, and then rock back into your hips. Let me show you that from the side. Knees wide, and here, and then rock back into your hips. You should feel that groin stretch in here. You can rock in and out of that. I think the butterfly stretch that Tyler was referring to is one you've probably done in gym class 100 times, which is here, up tall, and pushing your elbows into your knees, or just arching back and pushing your knees down towards the floor. Another one that I love, which is really active, and I love this for everyone, not just breaststrokers, is my knee is down, my foot is out to the side, flat-footed and facing straight forward, and then you're just going to rock back until you feel that groin adductor stretch in here. Do about 5 or 6 of those, and then take this hand, because we want to work on thoracic rotation again, that rotation of your spine. Reach through, rotate out. Again, not doing it at your shoulder, not flinging your shoulder back, but rotating through here.
All right, good stuff, good stuff. All right, everybody, we're going to wrap it up here. Hang on for just a second. I still have a couple things for you. I'm going to flash the workout again up on the screen so everybody can see it. Definitely let us know again how you felt about the exercises. If you have any other questions for us, obviously we can't answer everybody's questions today, but if you have any extra questions or anything you want to have us cover next time we do this, make sure you send us a message on Instagram, send us a comment, or leave a comment on one of our posts on Facebook so that we know. Again, you guys are going to be receiving an email that's going to give you some information about, not only the replay, but also where you can go and pick up some of the pieces of equipment that we talked about. And if you feel like it, go ahead and go over to our fitterandfaster.com website, and specifically fitterandfaster.com/FFT live to see the replay of this, along with all of the other replays of past events that we've done. Again, don't forget to pay attention to Fitter and Faster's social accounts. We're going to be announcing at least 10 webinars in a day or so for the next week, and we encourage you to join us whenever a topic comes up that you're interested in. Lastly, Fitter and Faster has a really valuable product called Swim Videos on Demand that you can find at swimvideos.net. And I'm going to be flashing an offer up on your screen here in just a moment. So go ahead and check that out when I'm done. But it's filled with hundreds of drills and full of really useful swimming information, along with explanations from our top clinicians. This is a really great time to sit down and pick apart what you're doing and try to gain as much knowledge as possible during this time where we have difficulty getting to the pool. Thank you very much to everybody who attended today. As always, stay safe, stay positive, keep a lookout for future events, and wash your dang hands. Goodbye now.
Take care, everybody.